Okay, girl, let's talk about nutrition. No diets. This is about feeding the new you. Now you've already had time to kind of get clarity of who you want to become. You have this vision of how you want to look, how you want to feel. Now it's every day practicing new behaviors that aligns with this new identity, this new version of you. Okay, so no more diets. So when you get into a diet mentality, counting calories, starving yourself mentality, you're in a lack mentality. And what happens is it actually psychologically triggers you to want to eat more. That actually affects your hormones to want to eat more. And then often that leads to binge eating. So instead of that, it's like, nope, this is who I want to become. This is how I want to look. This is how I want to feel. So now it's what are some really good food choices that I can stick to, that I enjoy, that work for me. So the first thing is that mindset shift of do what works for you. How do you know it's working for you? Number one is you're going to enjoy it enough that you can stick to it. It's a new lifestyle for yourself. You have enough alternatives in place. You have a nice routine in place that it works for you and you can sustain it because you feel good. You don't feel deprived, overly deprived or anything like that. And then the other thing you have to look at is it getting you the results you want? Because obviously you could just eat whatever you want, a bunch of junk food, bakery, pastries, all that stuff, but you're not getting the results you want. So you have to find what works for you that you can enjoy and that is actually getting you the results you want. Okay. So that's the number one thing mindset I want you to focus on. So, and just being in alignment of this new version, this new picture that you have of yourself. Okay, so it's a lot of testing and then course correction. This is about no guilt, okay? There's no like, oh, I ate all this and I feel guilty. No. We're done. That's like an old way of thinking. We're not doing that anymore, okay? So you're going to try different things. Some things are going to work. Some things aren't going to work. You're going to make adjustments and then you're going to keep going, okay? This is a new lifestyle for you. Being aware of how you feel during the day and being aware of how you feel before you eat or before you have food cravings will do more for you than calorie counting. Now, that being said, if you are wanting to go extreme, maybe have some like really intense fitness goals you have, that's amazing. You need to find a trainer that will help you count your macros and your micros, do your body measurements, fat percentage, whatever. You can do that. That's not what this is about. I'm not against that at all. It's just like, what are you wanting to do? And my challenge for you right now is, can you sustain that? This is all about what you can actually sustain. Okay. I don't even count calories anymore. I don't weigh myself anymore. I used to obsess about that stuff. I'm not saying those things are bad. I'm just saying that you need to be aware of you and what you can stick to. Okay. That's the point of this. Anyway, so now you have this vision of who you want to become. You're going to start making new choices. You need to, number one, be aware of your environment. So if you have food cravings, and you have a bunch of junk food in the house, you have to know, okay, can you sustain that? Or is it a thing where, like, for example, I love chocolate. I will never give up chocolate ever. I eat chocolate every single day, but I know myself enough that I have a really healthy alternative for that. They're called good fat bars. They're chocolatey. They're super satisfying. They're filling. I have them in my pantry. Anytime I have a chocolate craving, that's what I go for. So you have to start assessing your environment and seeing what alternatives, write this down, alternatives you can start replacing in your house. The next thing you want to look at is you want foods that are going to, if you're going to have any rule, this is the rule I want you to have, okay? You want to eat mostly real foods most of the time, okay? So yeah, if you want to have Friday night pizza night, go for it. But most of the time, like 80% of the time, you're eating mostly real whole foods, okay? Most of the time. That means not as packaged, not as processed, stuff like that. But you're also not like going so extreme that you can't maintain it, okay? And the reason why this is so important is when we eat a lot of inflammatory type foods, a lot of processed foods, it causes inflammation in the body, and that actually affects not only your immune system, it affects your mood, and it affects food cravings as well. So it's like this vicious cycle. Just as an example, there's a thing called, right now, it's called hypothalamic inflammation. It's essentially inflammation in the brain. It's very, very common now, unfortunately, and it has so much to do with the foods that we're eating, the processed foods, the inflammatory type foods that we're eating, and that actually affects food cravings because your hormones affect food cravings. You have your hypothalamus, you have things that are affecting your hormones and food cravings and your appetite control, and there's a lot of inflammation happening there. A lot of people have joint issues, they have hot flashes, menopausal issues, premenopausal issues, PMS symptoms. All that stuff has to do with diet, what you're eating, okay? Because it all affects your hormones. And when you start doing things, start eating more foods, more real foods that help your hormones and give you the nutrients and the minerals and all the things that your body needs to function properly and communicate properly. Your hormones essentially are like chemical messengers. They tell the body what to do. Okay, they trigger appetite, they affect your energy, they affect your metabolism, they affect your mood, your emotions, they affect your focus, they affect your sex drive, they affect your body temperature. Like literally everything is controlled by your hormones. It's kind of like your nervous system, but like chemical messengers. Okay, that's why you already know, when women have PMS or when they have a menopause, pregnancy, all that stuff, it really affects how you feel because all the hormone changes. But the beautiful thing about that is you don't have to be a slave to that. Like literally there's so much research now that shows the foods that you eat will affect your hormones, which will positively affect how you feel and positively affect your metabolism. So you don't have to work so hard to try to lose weight. And now if you can make that enjoyable for yourself, it's like a win-win situation. So really, foods that I'm going to get you to download the ebook if you haven't, because it has like literally lists of foods that support your hormones. Okay. And all you're going to want to do is start like print it out, put it on your fridge, take it when you go grocery shopping when you're going grocery shopping, and try to incorporate more hormone support type foods, more thermogenic type foods. Thermogenic foods just means that it kind of like turns up your body temperature. Like thermo is like your thermostat, internal thermostat. Genic, it produces more heat. So your body, it actually causes, your body has to take more energy, more calories to digest and process thermogenic foods. So it's a win-win situation. It's like you kind of have to like work harder to burn it off, which is a good thing because then you're burning more calories. Okay. So I have a list of thermogenic foods. I have a list of hormone supporting foods in the ebook. So you can, I really want you to print it out so you can look at it. If you don't look at it, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. Okay. And then the other thing I talk about a lot is intermittent fasting. And there's so much research that backs up intermittent fasting. And it's so simple to stick to, which is why I encourage so many people to try it. It's not for everybody, but it's personally as a busy mom, working mom, I find it to be way more simple than trying to do crazy diets. And essentially what it is you're going to go a period of time, 16 hours, maybe 14 hours, do what works for you, try different things where you're in a fasted state. And what's going to happen, it's going to give your body time to lower insulin levels, which increases your human growth hormone, which helps the body increase its metabolism. It helps you to retain more fat, or not more fat, retain more muscle, burn more fat. And also it gives the longer you go, your body goes into something, well, your body's always doing this. It's something called autophagy, where it recycles old damaged cells and takes that and kind of recycles it and uses it to produce new cells in the body. It's called autophagy. That's closer to the 24-hour mark. That's pretty extreme for some people, but it does benefit your body in that way. Most people intermittent fast for the metabolism benefits of it, the fat burning benefits of it, and because it's really simple and flexible. In that ebook, I also have example of schedules that you could try. Do what works for you. That's the whole thing, is do what works for you. And what I love about this is if you're anything like me, like maybe it's like a Friday night, Saturday night, you're out with your friends, or you're eating later, maybe you're eating or having a couple drinks and it's like 10, 12 o'clock at night, you can start your intermittent fast after that time period. Okay, so maybe during the week you stop eating around 7, 8 o'clock. Friday night you stop eating at 10. You can start your intermittent fast, your 16 hours or whatever, at that 10 o'clock mark. You can take one day off of intermittent fasting. That's totally fine. And yeah, you're not going to gain weight if you do that. Losing weight is about a calorie deficit. So it's essentially having your body burn more calories than it consumes. Now, there's not a magic formula for this, even though people talk about that. You will know you're in a calorie deficit because you're going to start to lose weight. You're going to start to, I don't even want to say weight, you're going to start to lose fat. You could be gaining muscle and gaining weight that way, but losing fat happens when you are burning more calories than you're consuming. So everything I talk about is to help burn more calories. So it's the intermittent fasting, it's eating more thermogenic foods, it's eating more hormone supportive foods to turn up the metabolism. I don't care how old you are. You can still have a good metabolism. Adaptogens, huge on adaptogens. You guys know that, that's why you're on it. Because that's also going to help with your metabolism. It's going to help support your hormones in that and help you burn more calories. Okay, so that's the biggest thing there. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else, but those are the main things. This is like, you're going to try the intermittent fasting. You're going to print off those hormone supportive foods, thermogenic food lists. You're going to change your mentality of you're not dieting anymore. You are feeding the new version of you. And the other thing you're going to do is start to drink a ton of water, minimum 2 liters. There's an actual formula. I'm going to put it somewhere for you guys so you can see. Minimum 2 liters of water. Water also will help detoxify, hydrate your skin, helps with digestion, and actually you burn more calories by drinking a ton of water. It also helps with appetite. So if you find that you're eating a lot of foods when maybe you're not so hungry, you might actually just be really dehydrated and your brain is telling you you're hungry, but you're actually dehydrated. So I want you drinking minimum 2 liters of water a day, okay? Also in that ebook, I have a bunch of other little tricks for weight loss and coming from a nutritional point of view. Check that out, because I don't want to tell you all of them right now, because I want you to look through it and see what works for you and just start incorporating those things until they become a new habit. Not all of them, it might be just like a couple of things, but try some things. And then the other thing was apple cider vinegar. I talked about that in the ebook, but if you can, and try and incorporate apple cider vinegar once or twice, maybe even 3 times a day. You can dilute it in water. You can drink it straight. A lot of people can't have it straight, so you can drink it in water if you want. Try to have it with your meals, okay? And what that's going to do, it's going to help with digestion. It helps lower your insulin levels, and it does help with fat burning. So I know a lot of people will fight me on this, but that's fine. Try it. It helps with bloating. So many people love it. Just try it and see if it works for you. But that's another simple thing you can start doing, okay?